go over to Dr. Ejiro Joyce Sutibe Iguzo on Zoom again, and I'd like to read to you the tweet of one of our viewers here who says, this is Obasi, and it says, how do societal perceptions of women in leadership roles affect the reception and potential impact of this reserved seats bill?
Well, that's a very good intervention there. The fact is that, in fact, when you started asking the questions about the barriers that women face, one of the things I was thinking about is the invisible power of patriarchy. We live in a patriarchal society that celebrates men, that, we are raised to believe that men are, they have legal rights or even cultural rights to be leaders, while women are supposed to be at home, be domesticated. And interestingly, this view is not something that is promoted by men alone. There are also some women who have also been brainwashed, who believe, what's a woman going to do on the floor of the Senate? She should sit back at home and take care of her children. But that is a very backward perspective. If you think that a woman who is on the floor of the Senate does not take care of her children, you are highly mistaken, because it just shows that you probably have not related with some of these women. We have related with women in high places who take good care of their children, who create opportunities for their children, who make every arrangement. And we have also seen women who sit at home all day, and before their very eyes, their children fall and break their heads. So it's not a question of you being in the house, for you to then judge a woman who takes care of her children and who does not take care of her children. So the perception that women are not fit for leadership is still prevalent. So to a large extent in some places. And like I said before, it's not just by men, it's also by some women who have come with that mindset. And it's the way we were brought up, it's the way we were raised, And when we raise these issues of women being in leadership, it is like conflicting with some people's perspective of what is right culturally and what is right even religiously. But I forget that even in the prevalent religions in Nigeria, in Christianity and in Islam, we can point to examples of women who have led. I am a Christian, so I know more about the Bible. I can point to Prophetess Deborah, for example, who was a wife, a mother, a warrior, a judge, and if she merited a place, in the holy book, then it means that religion is definitely not against, a woman ruling. So there are all kinds of perspectives. But another thing I want to say, which is also prevalent, is that people think, why reserve seats for women? It's supposed to be by merit, and all of that. One of the things I always like to say when we have discussions like this is the fact that it should please be noted that women's exclusion from political positions is not a measure of their qualification. Nigeria has one of the most qualified women in the world. A Nigerian woman from the north is the Deputy Secretary General of the UN, and we have not had any complaints about her work. She even worked in Nigeria as a minister before going to the UN. Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is a Nigerian woman, and she's heading WTO. The last time her election came around, she was returned unopposed. And we have several women making waves within the country, too many to mention. So it's not a lack of qualification. Nigeria has, some of the most qualified persons in the world, women in the world. And we deserve a seat at the table. And all of those mindsets about women not being able to lead, and people even pointing to one or two examples of where failures have taken place. When it's a woman that fails at something, it's great news. Compared to the number of men that have also failed in those places, nobody thinks about that. As far as it's a woman is judged, how do I put it? Overjudged. And when it comes to women leading, people want to scrutinize your qualification and all that. But I'm saying that even affirmative action, and by the way, we have a national gender policy. People still think the gender policy code it provides for 35% affirmative action. That was the previous one. The current national gender policy actually provides for 50-50 affirmative action, and it was adopted by, the president's cabinet during President Buhari's time. So it's a national document, it's a valid document that is supposed to drive the way we do things. Even the renewed hope agenda of the current president provides for 35% affirmative action for women. But how do these policies and promises translate to action? This is where the problem lies. And if I have a little bit more time, I will just say that recently, in February 2025, the Nigerian Institute for Legislative and Democratic Studies, which is a think tank of the National Assembly, developed a NAS-GESI policy, gender equality and social inclusion policy, was validated in February, and there was commitment by members of the National Assembly to take this forward. But of course, it's because of the things that are going on in the country right now, and the fact that 2 years into their election, people are already scrambling for how they will come back in 2027. I don't know how many people are looking at that strategy. But we have these documents in place. How do we translate them to action? Perception is one thing. It does not help anybody's case. But like I always say, what advocacy and lobbying has failed to achieve in the last 100+ years, one law we correct it. And that is where the reserve seat bill comes in. It's a temporary special measure. Several countries have used it. Out of 54 countries assessed in sub-Saharan Africa, 41 of them are using one form of special measure or another. So this is not a new thing. Rwanda got to where it is because of the 30% quota, in its laws. So what we're asking for is not something that has not been done before. Several countries are doing it. And that's the only way we can correct the wrongs. So see this as a form of reparation. Women were excluded by law from participating since 1922. And then now that the Constitution is open and allows it, we are saying, by way of reparations, correcting the long years of marginalization, let this bill pass. And there are provisions in the bill that says it's for 4 election cycles, and also it's a temporary special measure, by which time women will probably be on this level playing field with men to contest fair and square, to get their positions. Thank you very much. Let me stop there for now.